So, Matt's here now, take me for a session. Matt, do you want to explain what we're doing today?
We're basically going to be running through some movement stuff for Kuba because he's a big, strong guy. So, one of his weak points that we've established is lats and glutes. So, anything that's going to be inhibiting his ability to contract those areas, we're going to be looking to kind of iron out. So, basically, just reposition some of his structures. Reposition might be a strong word, but you know what I mean. Just kind of get in a better position to create contractions where he struggles to create contractions at the minute.
Yeah, we've already worked on the RDL, for example, and it's made a massive difference. So the first time I'll be RDL is Friday. We've obviously with a new way, without actually taking the piss with that, but it's just slight little tweaks and slight little movements that Matt has gone through with me that will help. And another big thing that I struggle with in past is breathing as well.
Yeah.
And we have gone through some movements for the breathing as well. So after my session with Matt, he's actually sent me some good videos for me to kind of work on before my sessions, which I have been implementing, especially with the breathing. It's made a huge difference. So today you're going to get to see what I'm going to work on. And like I said, Matt's a specialist in this field, so I will be using Matt quite often just to iron out little things that I need to iron out to get the most out of what I'm doing. As again, if you want to be top of your game, you have to obviously learn from everyone. You have to obviously get advice somewhere else and just try and tick every box. So in order for me to do that, I need help from people like Matt to get better.
Yeah, and when you're obviously chasing progressive overload and you're wanting to continually add more tissue, obviously when you increase tissue size, you're restricting movement anyway, because you'll notice that some of the biggest dudes sometimes get ripped for not having, you know, proper range of motion and shit, and it's like, well, they've got fucking 25-inch arms, so they're never going to get the same round as what someone 12 stone's going to get, you know. So we need to adapt things for the person that we've got in front of us. So it's like when we've got people like Kuba, he's a really strong dude, so there's going to create adaptations in tendon stiffness, in muscle size. These things over time are going to inhibit his ability to at least create some contractions. So we're just going to restore that balance basically and allow him to kind of develop the areas that is not quite able to develop to the max what he can do at this moment in time, at least anyway.
Yeah, 100%. Let's do it.
Yep. Right, so we're just going to assess how he's breathing and just have a little quick look at where his body kind of wants to bias breathing. And it might sound a bit stupid that, oh well, fucking hell, manage this far without fucking, you know, struggling to breathe, I'm not dying. But that's not kind of the point. It's as you get stronger and stronger, and obviously Kuba's shit on benching, rowing, stuff like that. So if you can imagine the muscles that are kind of pushing onto his rib cage from the front and back can sometimes affect the shape of the rib cage a little bit, and that's going to affect how the scapula glides on the rib cage and how we breathe. And basically, if you imagine that I'm compressing his rib cage there, and he goes to take a breath in, that part's going to struggle to expand as much, and he's going to expand from the lower ribs because these guys are a little bit more malleable. You've got two floating ribs at the bottom and the other ones that kind of go into those costal cartilage. So those are the guys which are going to expand, and then that's what kind of happens, and we associate that with certain movement issues, if you like. So if you just jump down onto the floor, Kuba, hands across your head, and we're just watching to see where he starts expanding, see where he wants to expand and bring the most air in. So hopefully there you can see that around this area, this is what's expanding, and he's not got much going on up here between his shoulder blades. There's not much expansion there, and the majority of it's coming down into these lower ribs, and that's why these lower ribs are flaring a little bit. We're going to run through that bear breathing drill. So you want to go onto all fours, that's it, turn your arms out. The reason why we're turning the hands out is because externally rotating just allows us to basically open up the shoulder blades a little bit more and allows us to get a little bit more air in between those shoulder blades. So push through that thumb side of your hand all the way from the floor, keep your head down, and then breathing through your nose, trying to just bring those shoulder blades apart from each other as much as you can. Right, so because Kuba's a big strong guy, we're going to need to add a little bit of a progression to this as well. So just go onto your toes, Kuba, as well, so we can just get a little bit of space between your knees and the floor. That's going to add his body weight to this a little bit, and it's also going to encourage him to brace into those lower abs. So that's it. And keep those obliques tight, Kuba, on that exhale. That's it. Keep those tight, and then breathing through your nose. That's it. Push forward, get that chest away from the floor, get them shoulder blades further apart. That's it. Exhale, exhale, exhale. And now inhale between this part. That's it, and you can have a rest, good. You end up going freaking dizzy and passing out.
To be fair, it's already made a big difference. Like, one thing that I have suffered with in a high rep range set, for example, my squatting or leg press, I was gassing out way too much because I wasn't able to get my air in my chest. Whereas after the session I did with Matt the other day, I was implementing this before I actually trained, and one, it improved my push session as I could get in a much better position pressing, and then two, yesterday when I did legs, I could actually brace much harder and I could breathe much better, so I was able to hit a 15 rep set with ease and a high rep set on squats with ease as well. So it's already making a big difference with the way I feel and the way I'm training.
This is kind of taking what we've just kind of done from a breathing standpoint and starting to add an element of contraction to it now, in terms of like your rotator cuff. So we're going to be basically in this sort of position, keeping heel down on this one. You're going to protract up towards the ceiling. You're going to keep that oblique braced. Inhale, then protract up towards that ceiling. And then exhale on way back down. Yeah, so basically we're going to just keep control of your obliques. Inhale as you're screwing into external rotation. So as we're inhaling, we're creating that ribcage shape that we want, and we're trying to create that external rotation and that shoulder blade positioning on that ribcage in that different shape. That's it. Another little tip as well is keep your eyes on the kettlebell. By looking that way, it's going to help open up this side of the ribcage that we're trying to get into. Yeah, breathing in as you're coming up and screwing. That's it, so exhale and then inhale as you're screwing up. That's it, keep your eyes on the prize. And then back down. Would have thought breathing would be so hard.
Cardio.
Right, we're going to go for kettlebell windmill next.
Feels twice as big now.
Right, so kettlebell windmill next. Starting up and basically above your head. Again, you're going to keep your eye on the kettlebell. You're going to allow for your shoulder to kind of rotate this way, and we're going to basically keep the feet just parallel straight forwards. And imagine that you're kind of drawing a triangle on the floor and you're aiming for just that space in between in front of your feet. So shoulder blade forward, hips kicking back towards this side, eyes on kettlebell, and then externally rotate as you're coming back up to the top. So take some coordination this one.
Hey, that's as far as it goes. Watch this. Watch this.
Right, so you want to try and kick your hips back towards that. In fact, no, it's in this hand, you're kicking it back this way. Yeah? Yeah. So kick it back towards the right hand side.
Put my ass.
This what?
Put my ass right ass.
Is it?
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons why we need to do this shit. Yeah, because your just hips are just being dragged around with you. It's like your body can't rotate separate to your hips sort of thing. Yeah. That's fine. We'll try and do like a kneeling windmill. So we'll bring it onto the floor. Keep that up.
Yeah, I think I'll be able to do that.
That's it. Just keep heavy on this heel. That's it. You just have to work on it. Next up we're going to go into those hanging oblique holds, you know, so we just need a step up box, a bar to kind of hang off.
This is good, real good. Makes a huge difference, to be honest, and I can already notice the difference of my training, so all these little things I will continue implementing. So again, it needs to be done.
So basically what we're going to do on this one, keeping box slightly in front, so that's going to encourage us to tuck his pelvis under again. We're going to basically get our torso in a position what he can achieve overhead and get some like depression, so we're getting the lats, obliques and stuff like that all working together. And then this is going to help transfer into like lat pull downs and other stuff that's going to help develop his lower lats. So just wide and shoulder width grip like you're going to do a pull up. Unshrug your shoulders, so basically pull shoulder blades down towards hips. Keep heels forwards. Tuck your bum under so you've got your abs and obliques. And we can basically alternate sides, so you can contract this left oblique by keeping this foot out. Hold that 10 seconds. Again, every exhale, you want to keep that tighter. Inhale is going back behind that shoulder blade again. So we're just keeping heavy on them heels again. Good. tuck your glutes under. That's it. So we've got this oblique tight. Good. That's it. Nice. Good. Have a minute. Fucking hard that, innit?
It's good though.
Could you feel that sort of like helping integrate you? Yeah, and that's what we're trying to look for. We want that oblique to be working so your lat can depress properly. That's it, come back to me. That's it, that's it. That oblique in. Exhale, exhale. Good. That's it, keep that lat on. Yeah, feel that all the way down to your fucking hip now. Good. Keep that lat engaged, so pull them shoulder blades down. That's it. Just let this armpit sort of open up. Good. Nice.
It's got more mobility and range in my shoulders as well.
Feel it coming already?
Yeah. I feel opened up, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not like everything's just fucking tight.
Stuff like this before you're pressing and pulling is going to be fucking brilliant for you.
Game changer.
Yeah. Right. So this next one's going to be kind of incorporating a bit of pelvis stuff because we've done a lot of upper body mobility here now. So now we're moving into more the hips. So we're just going to kind of make the upper body meet the lower body if you like. So split stance. We're going to kind of get a little bit of internal rotation at the hip as we're pushing through. So we're kind of starting in like a bit of a cockback position as if you're going to throw a punch. And then we're going to basically exhale as we punch through towards our big toe. Then come back up and then basically you're inhaling on this way, exhaling on that way. So we're getting the obliques on the exhale and we're expanding again on the inhale. That's it. Just hinge over a little bit, yeah. And ideally we want that cable running straight through elbow and shoulder just like you would on a chest press. Good. Hips back so you're staying in that position. Put your elbow back and then exhale as you go down. So this hip's coming down towards that leg. You want this hip coming in. So exhale and bring that hip in, that's it. And you should feel adductor on that left leg a little bit contract. Hinge over like you are doing just a normal single leg RDL. We're just going to stay in this position, bring this hip in towards that leading leg, so you're kind of getting your hips to turn and point that way, and then you're using your outside glute to contract and bring you back to that starting position. So out the glutes open, your hip up, adductors are bringing that internal rotation. So open hip up, bring him. Right. That's what we're aiming for. That's it, straighten that back leg. We can, there we go. Good. And make sure there's as much movement as possible is coming from inside the actual hip. Because it's quite easy to just point your rib cage. That's it. Don't let that knee drive out. Go really slow on that internal phase. That's it. So what you'll probably find is your shin wants to just turn away. So we don't want to let that happen. So go down, hold it, inhale, go in and exhale, then back out again. Feel it different. Get this back leg a bit further back to me. That's it, yeah. My leg's feeling it. Basically going to see how much we can get out of this whilst keeping bracing. Because one of the things that happens on Kuba as it goes to the bottom of an RDL, there's like a 3-inch period of the rep where his obliques just kind of go, and we're trying to just iron that out so he's got complete control of it all the way through the rep.
It almost goes like, at that point, when I watch the videos back, it's almost like it's perfect control, then it goes like boom.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's where my lift totally breaks. Like, I'm strong all the way through, and that's the position that kind of lets me down and costs me a lot of reps and potentially an injury as well.
Yeah.
Realistically.
And growth.
Yeah.
That's it. Good. So keep those obliques all the way through. Yeah. Right. Come back up to the top, and what I'm going to do is shove my hands into your obliques, and you just try and push them out all the way through.
Yeah.
And when you start to feel like you're getting to that point where that like lumbar break happens, then that's as far as we go. Go to that bottom part, breathe in through your nose, and then you can exhale and try and get a little bit more depth. That's it, yeah, just keep my hands pushed out of them. Good. And back up, so keep that, imagine I'm shoving my fingers through into that oblique. Good.
I feel like any lower, that's when it breaks.
Yeah. So keep braced. Now just pause it there. And that just go through a couple of breaths. So breathe in, brace again, and then come back up. Another thing that might help us temporarily, just at the moment, let's get that wedge or any wedge, and we'll do a heel elevated RDL to try and get a little bit more depth at bottom and train that range.
Yeah.
So we've not got like dorsiflexion as a limiting factor. In this position, keeping the bar pulled against my thighs so I can pull my shoulder blades in and get my lats, because I want my lats and obliques to both be helping stabilise. And then as I'm going down, I'm breathing in through my nose, keeping my head down, pushing my hip back as far as I can, still keeping that bar pulled into my waist. I'm holding it there, exhale, and then breathe in again. And then squeezing glutes and like tucking my glutes under as well. That's it. So we just want like ball up foot, big toe on contact with the floor. Keep your chin tucked, keep your abs braced. Hips back, hips back, hips back, hips back, hips back, hips back, hold. Then back up. Good. So let these hips come back, come back, come back, come back, come back, hold it there. Let these hips come back further if you go any lower. Come back further. That's it then. Yeah, that's fine. We'll just work through that range now. By putting your heels up on the wedge, your shin's not moving forward as far. So if you imagine, if I go on my tiptoes, my shin's actually starting in that position, so it doesn't end up being a limiting factor as you're going through your rep.
You don't really want any knee flexion in an RDL anyway. Well, very little degree of it.
What, in knee flexion?
Yeah.
I let a little bit, I mean, it depends on how long someone's femurs are and stuff. I think I tend to have to get a little bit.
Your knee never throws forward though.
Yeah.
Your knee never throws forward. That's the thing. You see a lot of people in the RDL, they get to this point and they're like thinking forward, you know what I mean? Yeah. That's one thing that, because my hips couldn't really push them back as much, that's what I used to do as well. Yeah. So I used to turn into like a Dorian deadlift rather than a proper RDL. Yeah. So I think this will definitely help. So before, on Friday, before I actually RDL, I'll do the breathing at the top, and then the breathing with my feet on the box. Yeah. Breathing with this, then I'll go to this. Yeah. Because then my obliques will be switched on, my breathing will be better, and then a couple of warm-ups with the heel elevation. Yeah. And then once I've got my range, boom, get it here, and then boom, like I can already push my hips back more. Yeah. But here, that's my full depth. Yeah. Without any break.
And I notice as well, like, the place in your back where you get the kind of break is where your hip flexors attach. Yeah. That's like the exact point on your spine where they attach. Yeah. So I reckon, because obviously years of strength training, those guys just aren't going to the position that they need to get to yet. So it's like, I think if you do some stuff for like front foot elevated split squats, because that's going to help like the yielding contraction in that hip flexor.
The front foot elevated split squat, I could do some on leg day.
Yeah,
before.
Definitely.
Just obviously get that going, just open up a bit more.
I think just chucking those in a couple of times a week is going to help your hips loads. Yeah. You know, even if, like say, it's away from session, so we're just creating that room for you.
I could do it really as a warm up for the leg days.
Yeah, 100%. What we're going to do then, get your rib cage angled down a little bit.
Yeah. So you want me to?
Yeah. So kind of drop it, so we're getting obliques involved. Yeah. What we don't want to be doing is letting that ribcage flare and like lift up. Yeah. So that's going to limit us to like these fibers. That's it. And try and like drive down with shoulder blade. That's it. And try and just follow this line of your lat right down to this point here. That's it. That's it. That's it.
So do you know when I'm doing this on any pull down?
Yeah.
Do you want me to stay more like a perfect line?
Yeah. So
with my rib cage. So almost, do you want me to crunch down on my obliques?
a little bit. Do you want me to demo it first?
Yeah.
I'll jump on. Feet forward, so that helps tuck his pelvis under a bit. And just so we're creating that line, pulling down with shoulder blades.
Yeah.
Pulling straight through. Yeah. So at the bottom we're pulling down sort of thing, and that's continuing through, you know, so we're drawing a line straight through our lower lat sort of thing, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. For me, I have to sit a little bit further back.
Yeah, yeah, whatever we need to do to just establish that position.
So I'll probably sit here, and that way I can drive from here.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And what we don't want is we don't want elbows to be coming back here, because that's going to then go into
course,
rear. Yeah. So we want to be
straight line.
Yeah,
like
literally.
Cage, yeah.
So we've got that line through into lower lat.
Elbows into pocket of the hip, yeah?
That's it, yeah. Like dig them into this front pocket. That's it. Yeah, so that's better already. And then you can elevate and inhale at the top and then drive down. So elevate, inhale, and then drive down into shoulder blades. Yeah. Good, yeah. Inhale, keep that line, keep that oblique, drive down. Good. We want this attachment to be coming down into this bottom corner at that. That's it. So when we're at this top position, inhale as you're coming up, keep that lat. Now drive shoulder blade down to my hand, but keep in that position. That's it, yeah. And I don't want you rotating away. Keep towards it, that's it. Now come down. Come down, that's it. Good. And right at that bottom part, just like close this in a little bit. So keep your oblique, and then bottom position, get your elbow and your shoulder. Like try and get your armpit a little bit further down towards your front pocket. But we aren't rotating back from it. That's it, yeah. Inhale, keep that lat. We want to get that tension right from start point and take it all the way through to corner.
In, and then...
Yes, that's the one. So you're just getting that final little nip into the bottom corner of your lat. That's it. Good. Get this lat first before we even move it, that's it. Go right up to the top. And when we're at top, I want you to get that lat and then just keep it all the way through to the bottom corner. I don't want there to be a fucking centimetre in it where you ain't got this active. That's it. If you need to shuffle forward so you get more elbow tuck at bottom, then do it. That's better. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. You'll feel it cramping up because it's kind of not used to being engaged right into that corner.
Use that as isolation, activation work really.
Yeah.
Before my RDLs, because normally before my RDLs, do a bit of glute work. So what I might do before my RDLs then is do the split squat, breathe in, split squat, and this.
Yeah. That's it, because we want your obliques and your lats to be engaged when you're on your RDLs, so that we can just create as much of a solid cylinder as possible as we're going down into hip flexion. Yeah, man. Good session.
That's mobility work done for you. So I have had quite a lot of people asking me what I'm doing to improve mobility and improve what I'm already doing. So that is pretty much some of it. So again, I will be using Matt quite regular to get things better and get things going. So that will be it moving forward, guys. So we will get some more footage for you. That is it for now.
We've basically just gone through a bit of a movement session with Kuba, so just kind of starting with breathing. First things first is we need to create room in the joint, and then we're basically trying to create stability and create a little bit more strength in those newfound ranges. So we've got a little bit of a sequence to go through. So yeah, if anyone wants to get hold of me, then Matt Seaman PT on Instagram. I've got my fitness platform if people want to learn any more stuff about the things that we've been going through. And yeah, catch you later.